Hey all, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing our TBR jar for the month of August. Now, I know last month I'm kind of doing like a circulating TBR. So last month I had picked out 10 prompts, 6 of which have been read from that TBR. Now I have read other books, and I currently have books on my TBR shelf that are not part of my TBR but for other videos that I want to do. So please keep a lookout for those. But I wanted to pull out prompts for the month of August, and I'm thinking to keep my standard TBR number at 10, so we are going to pull a total of 6 prompts today. Now, August is going to be interesting because I go back to work full-time in August as the school year gets started, and so we will see how many of these I actually end up getting to. But I wanted to make sure that I had a update on that TBR, so that way I've got my books to choose from. So let's get started. And I still have everything, still titles of, actually before we get started, I still have just titles in here, and I actually redid my shelves the other day. So now if we come over here, this top shelf is just my Harry Potter and my Hunger Games collection. And then down here, I have some fiction, a psychological thriller, and then the rest of this is all literary fiction and some classics. Because I realized I wanted to categorize my books rather than just keeping them by size. I mean, size was nice, but at the same time, having like all of my literary fiction together is nice to see. And so then we come up here, and we have all of my romance into fantasy romantasy into just plain fantasy. Now I do have Powerless over here, and I know that I'm aware that Powerless is a romantasy, but the sizing works better because this is a short hardback, whereas all of these are taller, and it ended up making sense just to put it down here. And plus, Reckless is coming soon in my mailbox, so I'm so excited about that. But Reckless is going to go straight onto my TBR for a video coming up, so keep your eye out for that. But it was nice to kind of, and then at the far end here behind my Grimms, I have those are my memoirs, because memoirs are the only nonfiction I have. Everything else is fiction. So I kind of categorized a little bit, so that made me happy when I did that yesterday. And so now let's get now this is all of my physical books. My Kindle books are Kindle books, so. But if you want to see an update on what I got on Kindle, I did do it in a previous vlog. So we're picking a total of 6 prompts. Let's put those back, shall we? All right. Up first, we have Bury Me by Anne Anderson. Yeah, this I believe is a romantasy that I got from Hello Books, and so we're gonna pull that up so I can give you the rundown. So Bury Me by it's Annie. Annie. I wrote it really small. So Bury Me by Annie Anderson is part of the series Immortal Vices and Virtues, Her Monstrous Mates. But they seem to be I think they're all standalones, because this is technically number 6. But I believe they're all standalones. This, I got the book from Hello Books, and I think it ended up being free. Yeah. So the description reads, "The world ended the night I was born. Coincidence? I think not. Stuck living in the catacombs beneath what used to be NYC, I've managed to stay hidden, alive, safe-ish. The supernatural syndicates that rule the city have been looking for someone powerful enough to give them an edge against each other. Insert me, a rare female dragon shifter that's lived underground my entire life. Don't get me wrong, I'm no stranger of being confined, but kidnapped and used for some..." Part of me was debating if I want to cuss on my channel or not, but because it's part of the synopsis. We're gonna read it. So, but kidnapped and used for some fucksticks gain hard pass. When my guardian fails to return from a supply run, I have to evaluate my options. Die alone in the tunnels or risk my life on the surface. Not exactly a hard choice. Until 3 dark warriors that would have been searching their whole lives for me finally catch a whiff of my scent. Relentless, obsessed. Now that they've smelled me, there's nowhere to run or hide. Not from them, a wicked fae, a cruel vampire, an alpha shifter. I may be the last golden dragon, but I'm as good as dead as when they trap me. Protect me, bed me, shelter me. Yeah, they didn't exactly put it that way, but I know how to read between the lines. These men want me to accept the bond, to be there and be theirs. Being naive is what got me into this situation. The last thing I want is to stay that way. But if I'm going to survive the city, the ruthless bounty hunters and criminals, I need their help. If only I could convince my lonely heart that that's all I needed from them. So it's a spicy, standalone paranormal romance. And so yes, this is an adult romance. So this, I feel it's fantasy, but also I feel like it's going to be very, very smutty. So we will see. Based off of the reviews, it has very few reviews, but I mean, at the same time, it's rated pretty well. So we shall see. So that's number 1. Number 2. Number 2 is Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. This is a book that I just got in yesterday. And it's literally a brand new book to my bookshelf. And when I had recently gotten a bunch of new titles, I literally took all of my things out, mixed it up, and put it back so that way there was no chance of me like picking off the top for a new book or reaching down low for an old book. It was literally all mixed up. So I'm not surprised that I've got a brand new book on my list. But if you've seen the movie Fight Club, there is a book with it as well. So this is Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. There is something about the book that I've seen the movie. There's something about the movie that I just liked. It's like the whole idea of we don't talk about Fight Club just sat in my brain. It's that phrase lives rent-free in my head, in my brain. So I happened to be looking for some lit fic, and this popped up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a book. So now, if you're not familiar with Fight Club's a strange narrator leaves his lackluster job when he comes under the thrall of Tyler Durden, and an enigmatic young man who holds secret after-hours boxing matches in the basement of bars. Their 2-men fight as long as they have to. This is a gloriously original work that exposes the darkness at the core of our modern world. And remember, the first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. And like I said, there was just something about the movie that just stuck in my brain. And when I found that there was a book to it, I'm like, ooh, I feel like I have to get it, So I'm very curious to see because I don't remember most of the movie, if anything. I've seen it, but I don't remember it. But there was just something about that phrase that just stuck, So I found it completely by accident and bought it. So that's book number 2. Shaking does nothing. I say this every time, but I do it anyway. Book number 3. It's like now that I've explained that these books are absolutely everywhere in there, it's like I'm trying to pick from different levels of the jar, Okay. This is Fallen Fates. Don't know if you can see that. It's Fallen Fate, Keepers of New Haven City by Indigo Lee. This is another Kindle book that I believe I got off of Hello Books. It's of a similar book to Bury Me, I think. It is book 1 of a series. Now, if they're all standalones or it's a continuous series, I don't know. But let's see. I'm not an angel anymore, and learning how to be immortal is so much harder than I expected. Turns out not knowing who you are anymore really gets in the way of living. Now someone's out to get me. A fey prophecy won't leave me alone, so I'm stuck between two beings who can't make up their minds, maybe? I don't know, I feel like I'm missing a word. Anyway, a priest who isn't a priest at all, and a fey prince who can't help but love his fated mate. I'm just a fallen angel who can't stand the world the way it is, and I'm trying to get on with my life. All the while, I'm falling head over heels. Welcome to New Haven City. Nothing is what it seems, and everybody's got secrets. Fallen Fate is a fated mate's dark paranormal romance suitable for PG-13 audiences. So, it's not as... it doesn't look like it's going to be smutty like Bury Me since it's PG-13, but it's another fantasy romance, which I live for. So, that's number 3. Anyway, don't mind me. Got another green. I almost feel like going for different colors, but again, colors mean nothing, so it really doesn't matter. This is number 4. Let's see. This is My Husband's Wife by Nick Haskins. This is another Kindle book that I picked up recently. I don't remember if this one was Hello Books or if it was just like a big Kindle sale. Anyway, it's on Kindle. This, I believe, is... honestly, I don't remember, but the synopsis reads, like Courtney, Katie believes she's living in a fairy tale, life that was tailor-made just for her, starting with the picture-perfect dentist she married. However, the handsome, successful doctor is nothing more than a calculated, clever fraud that said I do one too many times. Matching canary yellow diamond rings, the same Range Rover, and 2 expensive brick homes purchased in the same neighborhood were all part of the doctor's double life. Dr. Reynolds sold Katie and Courtney a dream that didn't belong to either of them, a dream he'll confiscate without warning in an ending not even the wives could see coming. So we got ourselves a mystery, double life. I feel like it's going to be very drama-y, and I'm kind of here for it. It sounded interesting, so I picked it up. I realized that this... oh, and there's not very many reviews on it. There's only like 62 reviews on Goodreads. But there was just something about some of these little titles that I'm like, you know what, let's try it. And most of these, like I said, so far, all of the Kindle titles that I've picked so far have been, I believe they're Hello Books, which means like they were all free. And I've noticed a lot of them, well, you also kind of pick what you like. And so a lot of them that happen to be coming up for me are fantasy romances, but it's like stuff that's not really like as familiar as other stuff. But yeah, all right. I want the blue one. I want the blue. I have no idea what's on this, by the way. I want the blue one though. Ooh, House of Gold by C.T. Ruizi. House of Gold is one that I picked up from Kindle. It was, I believe, a first read that I picked up from Amazon Prime. This one sounded exciting. It's sci-fi. This one sounded really cool. Oh, it wasn't a first look. Maybe it was just really cheap or something. Anyway, but it looked really cool and it sounds really cool. So, from visionary author C.T. Ruizi comes an epic journey of 4 people on a distant planet who face the ultimate test of loyalty, friendship, and duty in the rising tide of war. A corporate aristocracy descended from Africa rules a colony on a distant planet. Life here is easy for the rarefied and privileged few. The aristocrats enjoy a powerful cybernetic technology that expands their lifespans and ensures their prosperity. Those who serve them suffer under a heavy hand, but within this ruthless society are agents of hope and change. In a secret underwater laboratory, a separatist cult has created a threat to this aristocracy. I can't say the word right. You know what I mean. The primes are highly intelligent, manipulative products of genetic engineering designed to lead a rebellion. Enabling their mission are the proxies, the Prime's bodyguards and lifelong companions bound to their service. When the cult's hideout is attacked, proxies Nyandipa and Hondo rush to the rescue. As they emerge from their primes on the surface, however, everything they've been led to believe about their world is shattered. Nyandipa and Hondo will risk it all to honor the oath of absolute loyalty. But when the few people they're tasked to protect turn on each other, the proxies must decide between those they wish they were built to serve and the freedom they carve out of their own destinies. And the fate of their planet may rest in their choice. That sounded so stinking good. And so I had to get it. We're filling up August with a lot of like unknown titles, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to just get back in. I've got some fantasy because I've been wanting to read some. I've gotten like tight on some lit fic recently, and I want to keep reading fantasy because that's what I do enjoy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're at 5. Got one more book, guys. One more book. Let's see what we got. And they're mostly, I realize they're mostly Kindle books too, which is nice because I forget a lot about my Kindle library. So, okay, this is an audiobook. I have this one purely on audiobook. So it's Margot's Got Money Troubles by Ruthie Thorpe. And this one sounded interesting. It's just a standard fiction, and like I said, it sounded interesting. This is an audiobook for me. So, which is nice. I can always use audiobooks for my drive because I'm just gonna be starting work soon. So, let's see. Margot's Got Money Troubles. Did I put it on my list? So, Margot's Money Troubles is a bold, laugh-out, funny, and heartwarming story about one young woman's attempt to navigate adulthood, new motherhood, and her meager bank account in our increasingly online world, from the Penn Faulkner finalist and critically acclaimed author of The Knockout Queen. As the child of a Hooters waitress and an ex-pro wrestler, Margot Millais always known she'd have to make it on her own. So she enrolls in her local junior college, even though she can't imagine how she'll ever make a living. She's still figuring things out and never planned to have an affair with her English professor. And while the affair is brief, it isn't brief enough to keep her from getting pregnant. Despite everyone's advice, she decides to keep the baby, and mostly out of naivete and a yearning for something bigger. Now at 20, Margot is alone with an infant, unemployed, and on the verge of eviction. She needs a cash infusion fast. When her estranged father, Jinx, shows up on her doorstep and asks to move in with her, she agrees in exchange for help with childcare. Then Margot begins to form a plan. She'll start an OnlyFans as an experiment and soon finds herself adapting some of Jinx's advice from the world of wrestling, like how to craft a compelling character and make your audience fall in love with you. Before she knows it, she's turned into a runaway success. Could this be the answer to all of Margot's problems? Or does internet fame come with too high a price? Blisteringly funny and filled with sharp insight, Margot's Got Money Troubles is a tender tale starring an endearingly young heroine who's struggling to wrest money and power from a world that has little interest in giving it to her. It is a playful and honest examination of the art of storytelling and controlling your own narrative, an empowering portrait of coming into your own, both online and off. So there's mostly good reviews on the book, and I'm very excited to check it out. And so I got interested in the title from Book of the Month. It was one of June's picks. I skipped June, but I still look at the titles just to see if there's anything interesting coming out to have my eye on. So that is all 6 books that I have placed on my TBR. So actually, let's do a complete review, and we're going to review all 10 books that are now on my TBR. So the 4 books that are on my TBR currently are The Family Bones by Elle Marr, Murder Your Employer by Rupert Holmes, In a Dark Mirror by Kat Davis, and Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And so if you would like to see me talk about the 4 of those from those picks, I picked those back in July's TBR video. And so then those 4 books we are now adding to it, reviewing the ones we picked today. We have Bury Me by Annie Anderson. We have Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. Sorry. My Husband's Wife by Nick Haskins. We have Fallen Fate, Keepers of the New Haven City by Indigo Lee. We have House of Gold by C.T. Ruizi. And we have Margot's Got Money Troubles by Ruthie Thorpe. So these are all going to go onto my TBR shelf, and we will get into those come August. Because I do have plans this week that I'm filming this. Is a theme to my video, a theme to my weekly vlog, as well as next week's. So if you want to check out the coming vlogs, the one I'm currently filming this week, I don't know yet if this particular video will be before or after that one. I think I'm going to try to get this TBR up before this weekly vlog, but so you're hearing about it first. If you would like this coming up weekly vlog, I'm doing my 2nd episode of reading my little free library books that I had gotten from those. And then the week after, I plan on doing a new releases vlog with some books that I have received recently that are of newer release and of more known. Because like I said, I just pulled a lot of unknown books for my August TBR. I'm going to do a full vlog on known new releases that give you my take on some popular new releases and take you along with me. So that is the plan for the next 2 weeks as well as August. And so thank you so much for joining me for this TBR, and I will see you guys in the next video.